Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Jade, I saw a headline the other day, and I didn't dive in.
Yeah.
But I know you have, and I know you've got an opinion. So I am seeing that now in our outrage culture, some student loan borrowers are going, I'm not going to pay. I'm going to protest.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah.
it's one thing to protest in the streets over a political candidate. I'm all for that. Or some civil society problem. But this is not that. This is you borrowed the money, and now, am I hearing this right? Am I reading the headline right?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I think, listen, that's my take on it as well. Some student loan borrowers are refusing to pay out of protest. The article says millions of borrowers with existing student loans still have not made a payment since the bills resumed in October after a 3-year hiatus. And some admit that they're refusing to pay for spite, strictly out of protest.
You.
In an Intelligent.com survey conducted this month, 1,000 federal student loan borrowers, 25% of those people said that they had not made any payments at all. And 9% of that 25% said that they were holding off on paying their bills intentionally in an effort to pressure the government into canceling their debt.
That's going to work.
Oh, man. 44% said they believe their protests will lead to cancellation of some federal student loan debt.
Wow.
And 28% think that it is likely that this boycott will convince the government to cancel all student loan debt.
That's like me believing if I commit to leg day that I'll be able to dunk a basketball.
Listen.
It's not going to happen.
Listen. Ken Coleman.
I don't have the fast twitch. I don't care what I do. I can't dunk a basketball.
When I hear
what is
this,
happening?
I only hear it in a whiny voice.
Make it stop.
I only
you
hear
nailed
it in the voice of my 3-year-old when she doesn't get her way. Because here's, it's time to let it go. Can we just let it go, guys?
Let it go. Let it go right now.
It's time to let it go and finally accept the fact that these student loans are here. But I understand, let me just say, Ken, I understand why people are starting to feel like maybe there's a way. You remember on Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
And so you're saying there's a chance, right?
1 in a million.
Yeah, and what's happening is this administration does keep kind of dropping these little breadcrumbs of forgiveness that is making people feel like maybe there's a chance. I know earlier this month, Biden did
a great point.
Yeah, Biden
Because that
did
was dangled for well over a year.
It's still being dangled. Biden just did another one that says that they're going to forgive people who have $12,000 or less of student loans. That's the headline, but the underlying part says, and they've been paying for 10 years already. I'm like, if you have $12,000 of student loans and you have not, it's taken you over 10 years and you still haven't paid them off, there's something wrong with you, not the government at that point. Just throwing that out there because you can do that with Instacart.
Yeah.
You can pay off a $12,000 student loan in 1 year with Instacart. So
you got to show me how to set up an Instacart on the commercial break.
Listen.
I hear a lot about it.
The problem is people are thinking to themselves, I can get away with just not paying my student loan. If I don't want to pay it, I'm just not going to pay it.
I think I'm going to try this with my taxes this year. I'm going to tell my accountant that I'm protesting in hopes that the IRS will see the error of their ways. I think it's that ridiculous. I think it's the same level of ridiculousness.
But this is the perfect situation where we apply that adage of it's drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Because the government is in their office with their feet up on the table eating a ham sandwich while you're destroying your credit. You're making it hard, next to impossible for you to ever buy a house. You're setting yourself up for them to garnish your wages.
Okay, I'm glad you're talking about this because the real is what? How long does this protest last before they start cracking on them?
Well, the first thing that happens is when you don't pay your bill, it's okay, you're late. You're and then it goes
fees.
into there's fees.
Yeah.
6% in some cases. Then you go into default. And if you stay in default for long enough, then you go from owing what your missed payments were to owing the entire balance. Right up front. It escalates very quickly. And what happens there is when that takes place, it's all right, you're not going to be able to ever qualify. Not that I think that you need to, but you take yourself out of the running to ever qualify for any payments, forbearance, deferment ever again. Because you've poo-pooed on it and said, you've basically given the government the finger. And so at that point, you've truly screwed yourselves in many ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you imagine you go to work and you don't even get your paycheck because they're able to garnish a certain percentage of your paycheck?
That's what people don't realize.
Yeah, they can take they can hold your passport.
You know what? And while you're protesting, they can do those things to you.
And the thing is, you think that these people are losing sleep over this in the government? No. They don't care about that. They don't care about you.
In fact, they make you a poster child.
Yes.
For vengeance.
Listen.
I'm telling you, there's nothing. You know that old phrase? How's it go? It's nothing like a scorned woman. What's that? I messed that up. It's something along the lines.
Something about a woman scorned?
A woman scorned. Let me tell you what's worse than a scorned woman. A scorned bureaucrat.
Oh, gosh.
I'm telling you, you take a DC insider, they're all about regulation. You hack them off.
That's it.
They're coming for you. I promise you right now.
Listen.
There is no protest.
There's no it's over. I just need people to understand it's over. And I do want to appeal to some folks because I get it. People feel cheated, Ken, and
they feel lied to.
They feel lied to, and they feel like they're owed something. And I totally get that. Like anybody who's had student loans feels that. You feel like, hey, I did what my parents told me. I did what everybody told me, and now here I am. I shouldn't have to deal with this alone. And I just want to remind you that you can't blame your way to a better life. You have to start working and pushing your way out of that, because otherwise you're just going to stay there. You're going to get resentful. You just become faded glory.
I like that. I got a question for you.
It's like when you were good at high school basketball, like you were good at basketball in middle school.
I was.
And you keep reliving it and keep replaying it. It's like, let it go, man.
Yeah, really.
Like right now you're
That's
you're
why
a loser
I shouldn't
now.
be playing
You gotta
pickup.
let it go.
That's exactly why I don't play pickup at Lifetime.
Yeah.
Because the glory days are so far gone
that I
can't even remember them. All right, now I have a question for you. Okay, because I think you make a very good point that these people feel lied to, and okay, but how should those people feel that way when you got people like me and my wife who paid off our student loans? And let me give you one other demographic. Mm-hmm. The youngsters that are signing up for student loans as we speak.
Well, everybody feels like they're the exception, Ken, and I get that. Some people are like, listen, I signed for my loans. I know I signed for my loans. I knew it was going to be $60,000, and I understood. Other folks feel like, listen, my parents signed for these loans. I never really understood. Some people feel like they were never taught how interest works when they were 18. There are true and valid reasons to feel cheated, and I never want to take that away. But the fact of the matter is, you may never get that apology. You may never get somebody giving you what they owe you. That is just a tough and hard reality of life. And then you have to look back on yourself and go, okay, what am I going to do about it? Am I going to wait for somebody to take responsibility in my life, for my life? Or am I just going to go, you know what? You screwed me. That wasn't right, but I'm going to go ahead and clean up my life because I'm not waiting around for the likes of you, government, to do what I can do myself. And that's really just the attitude that I want people to take on for themselves.
All right.
And we know that it can be done. Like, we see it every day.
I gave you the shot. You did a great job. I'm going to be a little bit angrier about it.
All right.
I'm tired of the fairness doctrine. I'm tired of the fair crap. Let me tell you why. For those of you out there who don't think it's fair that Uncle Joe didn't come through, let me tell you about fair. It's not fair that I paid my student loan off and you thought you weren't going to have to pay yours off. Let me tell you what else. It's also not fair that a whole host of young people every year has had to sign up for student loans.
And make it clear,
it's not
Ken,
fair that they have to pay and that I had to pay and you, snowflake, don't have to pay. I'm sick of fair. Life isn't fair. Life is hard. Life sucks. Life can be great on the other side of hard and suck. You know how I know? Because I've had it hard and I've had the suck.
Come on, Ken.
And my life is great right now.
Around the
so
world
I'm
and back
tired
Come
of
on.
fair. Life isn't fair, you little snowflake. Get inside or you're going to melt.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.